I'm really excited to share this bag with you. I made this. It's a leather bag from Babylon Leather. They sell bag kits that you can make at home. The leather's pre-cut, pre-drilled. All you need is the needle and thread, which is provided along with everything else, all the tools you could possibly need. It's there. And I'm here to tell you this is a wonderful bag. I am really excited about it. I'm Leah Louise from Inspired Quilting by Leah Louise, and Babylon Leather asked me to do one of their kits and show you how they go together and what I think about it. And I'll tell you, I really do love this. It's a wonderful size bag. If you need a quick run-around bag, something small just to hold your phone and maybe your wallet, this is perfect. It has a zipper with a great size inside to hold everything you need, and it's a crossover strap, which I really appreciate because then that frees up my hands, and it's adjustable. It has a buckle. Oh my goodness, this is just everything that you need in a perfect little go around town bag. So watch this video and make sure you click the link below. There's a discount on their website. If you click the link, you can get one of these bags at a great discount. All right, let me show you how this goes. Check out this beautiful little bag. Oh my gosh, it is so perfect. And it's a kit. I just made it. I finished it. And I'm so excited about this. I can see how much I'm going to use this summer with quick trips here and there. It fits my phone beautifully, get my keys in there, and it would be fun to make a matching little accessory bag to put in here that I can zip up for things that I want quick access to. But these are wonderful kits. They're beautiful. It's Babylon Leather. I've done a kit previously. I did one for last Christmas. And I did this because it's in pink, and what a great color for spring and going into summer. But just think about trips to the beach and going on picnics and just quick vacations, weekend getaways, where you just want a small purse because you're going to go and maybe hike somewhere or go do a lot of shopping and do some sightseeing. It's nice to have a small bag that you can put your camera in and whatever you need and not have to deal with everything else. And this is perfect. It is great. It's fun to make, and I love it. I can't wait to put mine to good use. So let me show you how to make this. Really excited to get started on this. I am making a bag for Babylon Leather, and you may remember one that I did last year. It was just adorable. It was a cute little saddle bag in Christmas colors, and my granddaughter loves it. Now, the nice thing about these is that they are easy to do. Everything you need is in the kit. And I just want to show you, these are an old pair of quilting gloves, and I hated to throw them away because they still worked, so I'm using them for this. So let's take a look at what's in here. You can see what a pretty color this is. Oh my goodness, it's pink. How perfect is that for spring? And it's going to be an absolutely adorable little clutch, basically. It's a over the shoulder, and I want to leave that here so we can see the color. And then we have the strap, and it's already taken care of, so I don't have to make this. I just need to attach it. And here's a cute little ornament. They used their leftover leather scraps to make cute little ornaments, and of course the kids always love it. And this is the brochure that comes with the bag. And what's nice is you get a tutorial with every kit. So not only do you get all the supplies that you need, but you get a tutorial that shows you step by step. You can use the QR code here, or you can go online to their website and pull the bag up specifically. And, it has begin here, so it tells you exactly what you need to do, which is awesome. Now, there are also tools in here that are important. I'm going to set those things aside so I can set this out and we can take a look at it. And so there's the strap I was telling you about. But there's also a pair of little clippers or nippers, because we'll use that to cut the string that we're sewing the bag together with. And that's this. It's a waxed thread. And it's very sturdy, very strong, and works great in leather. It's very easy to work with, too. And then there are an assortment of little accessory pieces that will be attached on. And here are my needles. So I've got plenty of needles. I've read that some can break. I've never had that problem. I did bend one, and that's when I got my gloves out and I said, okay, I'm going to use the gloves because those fingers have a bit of extra texture and it helps me push the needle through in an area where I may be going through multiple layers. Okay, so what do we have here? These are the little pieces that go on the purse, that the stands on the bottom and the loops on the side for the strap. And then we have some clips to kind of hold things together while we're working along, and a little screwdriver to attach these pieces. So everything you need is included, and this is going to be great fun. So let me go ahead. I'm going to open up the leather and show you where we're going from here. Here are the pieces of leather that I'm going to be using. You'll notice everything is pre-cut and they're pre-drilled. The holes that we need to sew through are already punched out or drilled, and actually they're laser cut. And so they're very precise and on the mark. And then the little pieces that hold the attachments, everything is there that you need. And the pre-drilled holes just make it so easy. So let's take a look at this. Okay, so this is the size of the bag. It's not huge at all. Let's go ahead and set this so it's going to be perfect for summer. I love the spring pink. That's what I really was excited about this. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 9 by 6. It's going to be perfect to put my cell phone in and any other little things that I need. And during the summer, we like to travel light because it gets kind of hot and we don't want to schlep lots of stuff around. So this is what the leather looks like. And you can tell the inside from the outside. See how these holes are more noticeable and you have more texture on the leather here. There's less texture. It's not quite as prominent, and the holes are smaller. And that's because it's drilled from the front. It doesn't make it any more difficult to sew. It works fine, but it's a good way to tell your front from your back. And you'll always have a large one in the bottom center that shows you where to start, and then you sew around the entire perimeter. And then this is the piece that'll go around it, and we have our zipper that will close on the top, and then these little straps. So there's not that many pieces, and you're going to be surprised just how quickly this all goes together. There is one other thing that I want to show you before I get started with the sewing, and that's the gloves. I told you that I use my old quilting gloves, and they work great. But you also get finger protectors in the kit, and these just roll over your finger, and if you do your thumb and your finger, that works out really well too. I just find that the gloves work great, and I prefer them. So these actually have an official name. They're not your finger protectors, but they do come in handy. So I just wanted to show you that that's there. And I've got my thread, I've got my gloves, my clippers, and now I'm going to go ahead and get started sewing. I'm going to start sewing and show you how we use a double needle or a 2-needle stitch. And it's commonly used on leather. It's very sturdy. And we're going to do the zipper with the trim pieces. Now, we've got a piece that goes on each side like this, and that's going to be the top of the bag. What I want to show you is the large hole in the middle. It's not huge in difference to the others, but it is definitely a larger hole, and it's always in the center. And this is something that will ensure that you're sewing your piece to the right location in order for it to match up and create what we want for a finished product. Now, in this case, this is going to be lined up in the middle, and I'm going to put it to the outside of my strip. So this is actually going to attach to the bag, so we want to make sure that does not get caught up, and twisted around the other way. So what I'm going to do is take my pieces, and I'll sort of do a preliminary lineup. And you can see that the holes we're going to sew into are right here on this. And what we're going to do first is thread the needle with this thread. And in order to get the size that we want 4 times the distance that we're going to sew. So I want to go from end to end 1 time, so I will measure the length with my thread 4 different times. Now, there is plenty of thread. I did this before and I probably had half a spool left over. So don't worry about, being skimpy on it, because you will definitely have enough. All right, and the nifty little snippers here do a great job trimming off the thread. It cuts it nice and easily. Now, the other great benefit, large-eyed needles. Oh my goodness, this makes life so easy. And what I do is I run my fingernail along the edge of this because it flattens out that thread. And then I'm just going to run it through my needle like this. And look at that, the first time. It's so easy. Now, once you have your thread in the needle, you want to pull it out so the thread's a little bit longer than your needle is. And then you're going to flatten a spot. Like I say, this is something I do personally just because it makes it easier for me to thread and to also pierce the thread with the needle. So by putting the needle right in the middle there, see how that's right in the thread? I'm going to pull it to the base, and then when I pull this end, it creates a little lock knot there, and that's not coming or going anywhere. So I'm going to do that on both sides. I did a little bit of the sewing first, and I put this side piece next to the zipper. This is going to secure that zipper edge, and it attaches to the bottom. And then this piece out here is what will connect to the actual bag front and back. So with that being said, like I said, I've got my clip here because it holds that loose end right in place, and I have put my thread through 2 of the holes and pulled it to the back, because what I'm going to do is sew with alternating needles. I'll put one in, then I'll put the other, we'll draw it tight, and then we'll go from there. So I just want to get my needles straight. So this is the bottom one, and again I'm going to sew this direction. This is the bottom one here, and I'm going to make sure that I pull it upwards. Now, in doing that, I want to make sure too that this is held to the side, because then that way my needle will go right in through the drilled hole that's right there, and I'm going to push it all the way. Now, what I do want to show you, in the first couple stitches, it really is easier to pull your thread out a ways so you can get your needle right in. Once you get a few stitches in there, then it's all going to hold together much more easily. But for right now, we just want to get this tightened in and pull it through. I want to hold my needles together so that I ensure my thread is pretty much centered where it needs to be. Once I get past this first stitch, though, I'm not going to worry about that because the thread will be held in place. So when you do a stitch, one single stitch, you're going to pull on both sides, which will cinch it up and hold it in place. Yes. So you can see right here, there's the hole, and I want to go straight. You don't want to go at an angle, because you want to go straight through where the drilled hole is. Now I'm going to need to lift this one more time. I don't quite have it lined up. And hold this one aside while I pull this thread through. Just like that. Now I'm going to hold this one aside and push this one through right there. It's pulling the thread up against the edge of where I'm putting my needle through, and that's going to keep the thread out of the way so I don't pierce it with the point of my needle. Now I'm going to come through to the back here and run this right back where the other one came out. It's going to be right here, just like that, and I'll pull it through. And once I've got it pulled in, I'm going to cinch this nice and tight, just like that. We'll come from the back, pierce it in through the hole right there. Front. I need to make sure I'm holding this nice and straight. See how that comes right straight up? Once I get those first couple stitches in, it really does get a lot easier to manage because it's lined up well now. So I'm going to go to the next stitch right here. Make sure I'm holding it straight, keeping that needle straight so it comes right up. See how it came right straight through? And then I will hold this to the side as I put this needle in from the top to go towards the back. And see how it comes right out through there? Go. And pull it from both sides. I've sewn all the way to the end, so I've come from the starting point all the way up to the top of the zipper, and you can see I have the 2 stitching rows over here that are finished. This is my first one, and I have the second one to do. Now before I cut these threads, I want to lock the stitches in place. So I'm going to pull it tight, and I'm going to back stitch. So the first thing is to come from behind, and I'm going to go right in following the stitching I previously did through the same hole. It comes out on the front, and that's going to back stitch over that first stitch. I'll pull this up a bit because that'll help hold the threads aside so I can put this next needle in right here, and it comes right out the back. Just like that. So now both threads are coming out at the same point, and I just want to bring this one to the back, and then both of them will be on the back side. So I'll push that through right there. Pull it tight so I have a nice finished back stitch. And I'm going to take this glove off too. I'll show you why in just a moment. I'm going to trim this down so it's just a little bit past where I stitched. And I'm going to take a lighter and melt this down. The thread is wax coated, so it melts pretty easily. And by melting it, it'll kind of lock it in place because it'll melt it to the leather and it won't pull through. So let me just show you how that works. Now you can see why I took off my gloves. I didn't want to take a chance. There we go. And I just press to make sure I've got it in place, and you've got a nice locked in stitch, and the front looks fantastic. And now I'm going to do this next side. I do have to show you one thing. I initially made a mistake when I started making this, and this first row lines up with this inner row of holes here. So inadvertently, I wasn't paying attention, and I missed in the video where it showed me specifically to start here, but I started out here. And what I did is I took this and lined it up with these outer holes. So this was out, and nothing was going to line up had I left it that way. So I just want you to see. Follow the directions, make sure you watch carefully, and line everything up with where it needs to be. At this point now, these holes line up perfectly with this second row. So now I'm going to do the second row here, and then the zipper will be finished, and we're ready to start assembling the bag. It's looking wonderful. I love how this is coming out. The color's great, isn't it? And this piece is what's going to hold the front and back together. This is like the side of the bag. And I've already attached the little belt loops, and it goes through like this. It was a long piece, if you remember seeing it. Fold it over, sew it in. And there's also a little ring that will allow the strap to clip on right here. So once that's attached, which I've done on both sides, I'm going to take this and align it right up to the zipper piece. And then once both sides are finished like this, I can do the final assembly for my bag. So we're getting really close. Now, to make this a little quicker to show you. I've already put my needles through the first hole here, and I'm going to run these as well. And I'll pull them through together so I make sure my thread is even with both needles, and tuck this up like this. All right. Now what I'm going to do is come from behind. Let me show you what it looks like back here. And we're sewing this way. So this thread is good right where it is. And it's the first one that needs to come into the second hole. And you can see the hole is right there. And again, we have to be real careful to make sure that our needle goes through straight. And look at that. Oh my goodness, perfect. So it is going to wiggle around. You can put the binder clip on at this point if you want. It shouldn't take but a minute or two to get through this. So I will go ahead and continue across and sew this row together. Now, the one thing that you will find, and it's probably true with any of the bags that have a zipper tape in here, is when you're sewing across this way, these two together, this center piece doesn't have leather to go through. So you're going to kind of put your needle crossways. You'll come up a little bit on this side of the zipper, go through the center, and then when you're going down, you go to the other side of the zipper. And that just secures it really tight. So let me go ahead and finish these pieces up, and we're going to start putting the bag together. I'm really getting excited. This looks awesome. As you can see, my bag is taking shape. I'm working on one side, and once I do that, I'm going to show you. I'll be back in a minute to how to go around these corners, because it is a single stitch at a time in order to get this nice smooth transition around the curve. The other thing I wanted to show you while I'm here is, remember, I talked in the beginning about the large holes. They indicate the center of each of these sewing areas, the length of stitching. This is the middle, and you want those to line up. And I'm just so excited that I didn't miss any stitches or do anything crazy, and those are going to line up perfectly. And then I'm going to come around here and add this around the curve and come around to the bottom, and then we'll do the back. But like I said, as soon as I get up here to the curve, I'll be right back. I want to show you how to go around that part there. My bag is beginning to take shape. I'm getting the outer side on, and it's going to go into its rectangular form. It's going to be beautiful. So I'll get this side done, and then I'll do the other. But you can see how this is going to fit. And I'll just want to show you that we do this the same way. You can see those stitches in here. From one, just one side to the other. We just do one stitch right after each other, and we take it all the way down the straightaway. But what I want to show you is going around this corner, because we'll need to do this on each of the four corners, and it's hard to do running stitches. That just doesn't work for this kind of a project. But instead, what you want to do is take one stitch at a time. And so let me show you how we're going to go around this corner. And I always give it a good tight pull. I'm going to start by coming from the back, and then I'll go through one piece of leather, and then I'll go through the second. As I said, because we're on the curve, it's a challenge to get through both holes at one time, because they don't lay flat against each other. They will once we sew them, and it's the sewing that shapes the bag. So we are just going to run this through one stitch at a time through the top layer, and we'll put that right here through the top layer, and then we'll come down. And if I kind of reach my needle over a little bit, it sort of pulls that piece under, and then I can get my needle to go all the way through. You can see here I'm approaching the turn where we get our 90-degree angle, and we're changing directions basically. We're going to be sewing from the bottom up the side. And so I'm going to take my needle through the first hole of the side panel, and then I'm going to put it through the hole of the side of the bag. And this way I can pull it straight through and I get that piece to line up. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'll come through the top hole first, bring it through, and then carry it over to this piece and run it through there. And then as I pull this, it's going to begin turning this outer edge to follow along that corner. And that way I get this great turn right here, just like that. So you don't want to rush it. It's going to just take one stitch at a time. And once you get through, though, I mean, there's nothing difficult about this. It's just simply taking one stitch at a time and working your way through until you get to the end. So I want to just show you what this looks like when it's finished. And we are getting really close to having this bag complete. Now you can see here, as I'm sewing, I'm getting some loose threads. So it's important after each stitch, just like we've done before, we want to grab each side and pull it good and tight. And that cinches everything right up where it needs to be. And then I'll pull this one through. And I'm not going to worry too much about pulling this stitch until I get the second thread. So I have the first thread coming up through the hole, and I'm now going to put this down inside the top layer. I'll pull it through, then I'll go through the second layer. And that just seems to make it much easier. Just like that. And then I pull my thread, and you see how nice and evenly that lays, and it's just going to go right around and get that curve. So I'm going to continue around here, but I do want to show you one other thing real quick while we're here, just because I think this will be a lot of fun. We have our little posts that go on the bottom, and the way this works is we have this little screw, and of course we have our screwdriver, and we want to punch this through, not punch, but push it, because the holes are already there. And then this is going to screw right into the little leg, basically. And once this is attached, we want to get it good and tight. And there we are. So we're going to have 4 pieces, and then this is what the bag will sit on. And so it gives it a really nice finished look. Oh, I can't wait to get to the end and show you how this is going to turn out. Let me go around this edge, and then I'll get the other side done and show you how it looks. I am so excited to have this finished. It looks great. And I just need to kind of give it a hand press and make sure everything's nice and square. Look at that. And it lays beautifully. It's got the little feet, which keeps it up off from being on the floor if you set it down. And it opens with a zipper so simply. Look at that. And a nice little spot. You know, we may need to make a little pouch, a little zipper or Velcro pouch to put in here as well. But you know, this is perfect for my phone. It's so wonderful in the summer just to have an easy bag to take with you and run quick. Or if you go into the beach or a day picnic out and about and you don't need all your stuff, you just need a quick bag and a place to put your phone. This is perfect. I love it. And you make it, and that makes it so much fun. So we're going to put this together, and I have a crossover strap that we're going to pull out, and it seems to be stuck right there. We go. And it has an adjustable strap, which is awesome. And I tend to be a bit taller than many, so I appreciate that extra length. And it's funny, my sister isn't nearly as tall as I am. And so she would also appreciate the option to make it a bit shorter. But look at this. Isn't that great? Oh my gosh, I love this little purse. This is going to be so wonderful. I can't wait to get it in use and put my phone in here. This is perfect. I've enjoyed this a lot, and I am so glad that I made this and I've got it finished, and it's a wonderful piece. This is perfect for, I mean, we've got spring break coming up and summer. So if you have teens or you yourself or friends that you know like making handmade gifts or handmade projects, this is ideal. It is sewing, but it's very simple sewing, and it's just one stitch at a time. It's the same stitch throughout the whole thing. So there's really nothing complicated about this. And it's just a matter of following the directions. And like I did, if you miss a spot, you can go back easily and get it corrected, because sometimes it is easy to get carried away and get excited about going to the next step and not having everything right where it needs to be. But I love this. It's wonderful. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for being here. I hope you enjoyed this. And be sure to check out Babylon Leather. There are some discounts for you there. And I'll put my coupon code down below with the link. Oh my gosh, I love this. It is terrific. Thanks again. You have a wonderful day.